If you were given a chance to choose between eating pizza and KFC, which would you choose? Wen Yu-tang held her phone in her hand. Her eyes filled with anticipation as she looked at Cheng Yi-ran. But Cheng Yi-ran's eyes only showed 2 words: gluttony. Cheng Yi-ran smiled and replied, I choose to eat tomato egg noodles. There is no choice. Cheng Yi-ran took Wen Yu-tang's phone and put it aside, raised her right index finger and said, you only have one choice: to eat or not to eat. Her eyes were so gentle as a knife. Therefore, under that gentle knife, Wen Yu-tang could only submit. She pitifully accepted the bowl of tomato egg noodles from Cheng Yi-ran's hands. There were a lot of eggs. And the tomatoes were also very fragrant. Slowly closed her eyes and took a bite, ahoo-hoo. Enduring the heartbreak of eating the bowl of noodles, Wen Yu-tang looked at her phone with frustration. There was still a picture of pizza on the screen. No one did anything to you. Cheng Yi-ran sighed, eating the bowl of tomato egg noodles in front of her. But you can't eat this every day, right? Don't you think it's delicious? Wen Yu-tang shook her head. Sorry, I'm a carnivore. Carnivores, no, omnivores. She couldn't help but ask, is there anything you can't eat? Yes, Wen Yu-tang said frankly, tomato egg noodles. She had been eating it for 3 days. She was about to throw up. Cheng Yi-ran nodded, immediately making a decision. Okay, let's eat this again tomorrow. Someone had transformed. At night, Cheng Yi-ran prepared to go to the supermarket to buy food. Although she said she was eating tomato egg noodles, she couldn't bear to let Wen Yu-tang eat it forever. She had been eating it for 3 days. If this continued, her friend might really go crazy. Before leaving the house, Wen Yu-tang also instructed, still the same. The last time, really the last time. Actually I don't want to eat. When she closed the door, planning to take the elevator, the person across the street just happened to also go out. Cheng Yi-ran stood aside waiting for the elevator, suddenly discovering that there was another person beside her. Just as the elevator arrived, she stepped in, and the other person also followed. She pressed the first floor button, then turned to the other person and asked, which floor are you going to? The other person frowned when he heard that, and whispered, am I very old? Then turned his head to look at her. This person's eyes were very beautiful. This was Cheng Yi-ran's first impression of the person accompanying her. Even if she drew it herself, it was extremely beautiful. Thick eyelashes, deep eyes. It would be very good as a model. Am I very old? This time, the other person increased the volume and asked her back. Not old. Cheng Yi-ran twitched the corner of her mouth. I didn't do it on purpose. Tell me, do you think I'm old? Not old. Cheng Yi-ran, don't you have anything to say? Cheng Yi-ran was confused. Did they know each other before? Yan Mo was helpless. At this moment the elevator had already reached the first floor. He pulled the person who was surrounded in a state of shock to the side of the flower bed, smiled faintly at her and said, Cheng Yi-ran, why are you still so stupid? He was the stupid one. Cheng Yi-ran was about to retort, but just as she met the other person's smiling eyes, her mind felt like it was knocked by something. She suddenly reacted. Yan Mo finally realized, it seems you're a little smarter than before. Yan Mo said while smiling. Cheng Yi-ran replied, you're still very smart, right? At least she still thought so. The other person laughed without any respect, showing that he did not agree with her. Just now in the elevator, you said, which floor are you going to? Yan Mo even imitated her tone. That was an accident. Is it too late to argue back now? When you turned around, you didn't recognize me. Sigh. This tone made her feel guilty. Yan Mo, actually you've changed. You've become handsome, making me not recognize you. After she finished speaking, she herself wished she could bite off her tongue. What was that? Back when they were in school, he was the hot boy of Yi Middle School for 3 years straight. Yan Mo slowly said, Sir, I've become handsome. How come I didn't recognize you? The other person's face was almost stuck to his stomach. He paused for a moment before continuing. The other day, when I returned to school, the homeroom teacher said I was still the same as before. Still as handsome as ever. Cheng Yi-ran really wanted to say that, but she really didn't realize it just now. The neighbor across the street was the person she had a crush on before. Was she being funny? In my eyes, You're getting more and more handsome. It really made me feel guilty. Do you understand? She could even say something like that. Yan Mo clenched her fists, covered her mouth and coughed, smiling and asked, "Where do you want to go?" The supermarket. When she went to buy food, she didn't dare to say the next part. Who knew if she said the next part? It might be, "Oh really? You know how to cook. Can I come and try it then? Or not?" Yan Mo could only sigh. Not far from them were the flashing lights of cars, appearing and disappearing. In fact, he also had something to do. What a pity. It seems like I can't go with you tonight. I have work. Huh? Cheng Yiren was confused. What did she mean by, "It seems like I can't go with you"? Was she inviting him? The other car couldn't wait any longer and drove straight over. Yan Mo opened the car door and said with a smile, "Classmate Cheng Yiren, then let's go to the supermarket together next time." The car immediately drove away, leaving Cheng Yiren stunned on the spot. Why, after a year, Yan Mo is still as handsome as ever. When Yu Tang's shrill scream rang out in the bedroom, her expression was extremely wonderful. Really? Is it really Yan Mo? She slapped the bed. Oh my god, how did he become more handsome? From then until now, I still felt that he had reached the peak of his beauty in high school. I didn't think he could be more handsome than before. Even though he was really handsome, Cheng Yitang still had to say, why did Yan Mo's face become so thick? After making a fuss for a while, Wen Yutang rolled over to her side and nudged her with his arm. Hey, tell me, does he have a girlfriend now? Girlfriend? I don't know. If there isn't one, then you go and flirt with her again, Wen Yutang suggested. Cheng Yiren looked up at the ceiling, feeling speechless. Why? Wen Yutang cleared his throat, reciting every single word he had memorized from that year. Sorry, I don't have the temperament to fall in love during school. And I don't plan on falling in love with my friends. But if the other party is Cheng Yiren, I think I can change my plans. Oh, I still remember those words clearly. What a spirit. She couldn't help but almost blurt out. You let too much slip by. That's right, so spirited. After he said that, he was immediately taken to the principal's office. After that, everyone stopped calling him by his name, and directly called him Domineering Yan. Cheng Yiren thought about it and felt amused. After laughing, she felt a little depressed. Such a good guy, he had indirectly confessed to her in the past. Moreover, she also had a secret crush on him. Oh well, Wen Yutang shook his head. These things aren't important. Then what is important? He's handsome. Cheng Yiren really didn't know what to say. Can you focus on other aspects? For example, Cheng Yiren listed. For example, this inner meaning, this way of speaking, this personality. It seems that in these aspects, Yan Mo is also quite good. Wen Yutang praised endlessly. This guy was really good in every way. Why don't you try to flirt with him? No matter what, Cheng Yiren wouldn't pursue him. He was the one who rejected me in the past. You know, now that I pursue Yan Mo, what if I get rejected again? Wen Yutang acted like she was Alexander. She stood up and took the computer that was on the nightstand, opened it directly, pointed at it painfully. Actually, I also want to flirt with him. But look, the Domineering Yan is asking me how to contact you. The information on the phone suddenly magnified. Why, didn't she clearly reject me at that time? What did that mean? As your best sister, I decided not to reveal your phone number. Wen Yutang showed an expression of I'm working hard to contribute to science and technology for socialism. Cheng Yiren was very much in agreement. But, what do you mean by sending out my WeChat and Weibo? Ah, you should understand the position of the Domineering Yan in my heart. That male god. Cheng Yiren could only look up at the sky. Friendship has become meaningless, huh? Before she could finish feeling emotional, the phone rang. Are you sure you didn't tell Yan Mo my phone number? Cheng Yiren felt that the chat history was unreliable. Indeed, Wen Yutang had not given it. She nodded firmly. Except for this, she had given it to everyone else. It was already nighttime. Almost 12 o'clock. The number was unknown. Cheng Yiren resolutely pressed the reject call button. The calls that came after were all harassment. But whoever called to harass her even took the initiative to send a message. And even said, have you slept yet? Let's go to the supermarket together tomorrow. Let's go to the supermarket. Let's go to the supermarket. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Wen Yu-tang pointed at the message, fearfully asking, "Who is it?" Cheng Yi-ran fell onto the bed, gloomily replying, "Domineering Yan." She helplessly texted back, "How did you know my phone number?" She conveniently changed the name to Domineering Yan. Thinking back, she felt something was wrong, so she deleted it and saved it as Yan Mo. The guy Yan Mo replied very quickly, "Oh, I hacked your Weibo." Hack Weibo. Cheng Yi-ran. Yan Mo. Just add a step to protect your account. Don't worry, normal hackers can't hack it. Is that what you mean? Cheng Yi-ran. Is learning computers to use it like this? Yan Mo. According to common sense, it shouldn't work, but this is a special case. It can be used. Cheng Yi-ran. Good night. Cheng Yi-ran was almost in a sweet dream, not wanting to care about that person anymore. Computer students are very perverted. When she set the password for her Weibo, the security level was displayed as high. How could she hack it so easily and comfortably? On the second day after breakfast, Cheng Yi-ran went to the studio as usual. The moment the elevator opened, the corners of her mouth twitched. She shouldn't have taken the elevator recently. She might have met someone by the elevator. What was going on? But she persisted, smiling and greeting the other person. "You went out so early." Yan Mo shook his head. "Just got back." "Huh? The company's system broke down last night. It took all night to fix it." Yan Mo rubbed the bridge of his nose, his tone calm. "Aren't you going in?" He even stepped aside, making room for her to go in. Cheng Yi-ran hesitated a bit. "Aren't you going out? Didn't you want to go to the studio? I'll take you there." When she looked at her again, her expression was much more sober. After hesitating for only a second, Cheng Yi-ran agreed. The elevator went down. Through the elevator glass, his expression wasn't too good. Seeing this, Cheng Yi-ran was a little worried. "Actually, I can go by myself." Yan Mo raised his eyebrows. "Didn't you not have a car?" Cheng Yi-ran proudly shook her mobile phone. "So I booked a car. Using an app to call. A car calling app on the phone? Very good." A smile appeared on Yan Mo's face. When she got home, the first thing she did was to hack her phone. The elevator made a ting sound. Yan Mo took the lead and walked out, hands in his pockets, leisurely walking in front of her. "But it's raining so hard. Are you sure a car will come pick you up?" "It's raining." Cheng Yi-ran looked flustered. She saw that the sky outside was still clear when she had breakfast. In the parking lot, the sensor lights lit up one after another. Yan Mo walked to the side of the car, opened the car door with one hand, and called out to her with a smile, "Get in the car." Cheng Yi-ran, called by a warm voice. Cheng Yi-ran suddenly looked at him. Yan Mo stood under the light, not having slept all night, still elegant and agile. She walked step by step towards him, but felt very miserable in her heart. Who said that if you like someone, you don't need to care about the outcome? Who said that teenage feelings can't come true? When she was young, she liked such an outstanding male student. In the end, she couldn't have him. What a pity. Cheng Yi-ran sat in the passenger seat. The air conditioner was on in the car. She silently adjusted the fan direction. Yan Mo took all of this into his eyes, and only when they left the parking lot did he say, "On a rainy day, you can't open the windows, so you have to turn on the air conditioner to cool down a bit." Cheng Yi-ran nodded. "I understand." Along the way, only Cheng Yi-ran was troubled by two questions. Why did he know that she was going to the studio? Why was it raining? The second question was meaningless. And the first question, should she ask or not? That, while waiting for the red light, Cheng Yi-ran asked, "How did you know I wanted to go to the studio?" Yan Mo smiled harmlessly, turned his head to look at her, revealing his white teeth. "Guess?" Cheng Yi-ran said what was on his mind. "Didn't you ask Wen Yu-tang?" "No." Cheng Yi-ran still felt strange. "Then how did you know?" "It's very simple." He turned the steering wheel, his long, white fingers controlling. "You'll know if you look at your Weibo." Cheng Yi-ran was attracted by Yan Mo's fingers, completely ignoring what he said, blankly looking at his hand and asking, "Yan Mo, can you lend me your hand?" The person whose hand was being borrowed curled the corner of his mouth. "How?" Cheng Yi-ran was full of interest. "I want to draw your hand. You just need to spend an hour with me." "Drawing?" Yan Mo happily agreed, because they finally got to share a room. A few days later, Cheng Yiren and Wen Yutang were having lunch at the restaurant downstairs. Wen Yutang poked at the tray in front of her, looking puzzled. Why do you think people like to eat sliced raw fish now? The smell is strange. Although she was an omnivore, she couldn't stand raw fish. Cheng Yiren thought for a moment and said, probably learned from the lifestyle of islanders. After all, there are a lot of girls from island nations. Note 1. Island nation, or island nation, is a country located entirely on one or more islands, or some part of the islands. This means that these countries do not have any territory on the mainland. There are a total of 47 island nations, accounting for 24% of the total 193 member states of the United Nations, many of which are the smallest countries in the world. Wen Yutang also said, the weather is so cold today. And it's also raining. In the morning, under the dormitory, there were many male students braving the cold wind, holding umbrellas to wait for their girlfriends. So pitiful. Cheng Yiren, that's because you haven't seen the moment they had fun. Wen Yutang laughed out loud on the table. Cheng Yiren, you're crazy. Yan Mo, because there was a party here, just came in and heard Cheng Yiren's words. So he felt a little funny. The person beside him seemed to have just discovered it. Oh. Isn't this Cheng Yiren? Cheng Yiren was eating when she heard someone calling her. She quickly turned around, the smile on her face still not gone. The early summer smile was overflowing. A frown, a glance of the girl was more beautiful than blooming flowers. The smile on her face still not gone. The person calling her name was suddenly stunned. Cheng Yiren recovered her expression. Her eyes swept over, easily seeing Yan Mo. In a flash, she felt embarrassed. Just now, he couldn't have heard everything, right? Many of the people who came along were Cheng Yiren and Wen Yutang's college classmates. Seeing that there was an acquaintance here, the reserved seat was no longer needed, so they immediately asked the waiter to add a seat on this side. There was another figure beside them. Cheng Yiren's eyes twitched, and Yan Mo sat beside her calmly and properly. Someone suddenly asked, "Hey, boss, why are you sitting next to Cheng Yiren? Do you two know each other?" It was originally just a joke, but they didn't expect Yan Mo to actually turn around and look at her seriously. Then solemnly nod. Yes, we do. Everyone was stunned. After all, after being in the student union for so long, no one had heard of him having any interactions with the Academy of Arts. She and I are high school friends. Ah, if they were high school friends, then it wouldn't be strange. During the meal, someone asked Wen Yutang, "I've never seen you two before. Are you two sophomores?" "That's right. We used to live in the old teaching area, and we just moved here this semester." Who would have thought that Nanchang University would be divided into two old and new teaching areas? The Academy of Arts, the Academy of Foreign Languages, the Academy of Law, and the Academy of Humanities. The first-year students all studied in the old area, and the second-year students moved to the new area. So that's how it is. No wonder I've never seen it before. Halfway through his meal, Wen Yutang slapped the table. "Tell me, why do teachers always take attendance when they come to class? I had 6 classes today, and I took attendance for every class." Cheng Yiren thought, tilted her head and replied, "Today, when philosophy teacher Ma came, only half the class had students." He angrily glared at the class monitor. "Why is this happening? Where are the other students in the class?" The class monitor is a girl. She mumbled for a long time, unable to speak. Tears were about to flow. She felt so wronged. The male student next to her said in a low voice, "Can't get up. Can't get up. Can't get up. In the end, can't get up." After hearing that, everyone laughed out loud. Wen Yutang laughed heartily. "Your classmate is so funny. Let me go to class with you next time." Cheng Yiren was very calm. "It is indeed very interesting. But there are also some bad points." "What points?" Everyone looked at her expectantly. Cheng Yiren calmly sipped her tea and said, "Every time a class ends, you have to hand in your homework. The teacher calls you to submit it, one by one, and then you mark it on the list." The corners of more than a dozen people's mouths twitched. Someone said, "Just one teacher?" Cheng Yiren. "Oh, except for teacher Ma's philosophy class." Someone else asked, "Every class?" Cheng Yiren thought, "That's right. That's it. We won't go." Jokingly, Nanchang University's Academy of Arts is famous throughout the country. Not all students who know art can pass. People like them. Still, don't be so shameless as to drop in. Beside Cheng Yiren, Yan Mo's face was full of smiles. Why did he only know that she was so interesting now? After eating, everyone dispersed. Wen Yutang studied at the Law Academy in Tianyuan. Cheng Yiren studied at Liwan. The two of them naturally did not go in the same direction. Cheng Yiren slowly walked back alone. Behind her, a gentle voice rang out, "Cheng Yiren. Wait a minute." Cheng Yiren turned around, her eyes filled with doubt. "Huh?" Yan Mo said a few words to the person beside him, then walked over, walking shoulder to shoulder with her. "Do you know how to contact the president of your student union?" Cheng Yiren thought, took out her phone and showed it to him. "It's this number." Yan Mo didn't look, slowly said, "Send me this number. I don't have my phone." Hearing that, she obediently texted it. Then she looked at him, her expression as if to say, "It's done. Then do you have anything else to say?" Yan Mo laughed and said helplessly, "Don't you have anything to ask me?" Cheng Yiren blinked. "Do you have anything to ask? Have you gotten used to the new teaching area?" Cheng Yiren shook her head. "I'm used to it, and the environment here is much better than the old teaching area." "Then are you interested in joining the student union?" Cheng Yiren's eyes jumped, putting a spoke in the wheel. Moreover, she was currently the vice president of the Academy of Arts. In early summer, the trees on the road were lush, and the two of them walked side by side. Yan Mo's expression was indifferent, and there was no emotion in his words. "It's just that I feel very empty without you by my side. Why don't you be the vice president while I'm still here?" "Be the vice president while I'm still here?" 2 years of being the vice president isn't enough. From grade 10, I don't know why I was dragged into the student council to be the vice president until the end of grade 11. It was so hard for you to graduate. But now you're telling me to be. Cheng Yiren looked miserable. "How can I not be worried? Being the vice president of the student council is very tiring." Yan Mo smiled at her. "Aren't you also the vice president now? Aren't you tired right now?" "Of course not. I became vice president because my academy really couldn't find anyone and found me. I'm just a false name." Yan Mo frowned, as if he had just realized. "Didn't you say you would let me do the work?" Cheng Yiren held her forehead and said, "I beg you. You're my senior brother Yan. Please spare me." Walking to the dormitory, Cheng Yiren was standing under the street lamp. The pale light of the lamp cast down, covering her in a peaceful color. Yan Mo originally came to tease her. The student union was a place of dragons and tigers. Someone with a personality like her should just stay at school and do some errands alone. "Special thanks to Alice for helping me out here." He touched his chin, saying with emotion, "It's been a long time since you called me senior brother. I'm a little unaccustomed." Cheng Yiren felt nervous, answering whatever she asked. "Senior brother Yan, have I offended you recently?" Yan Mo looked confused. "No. Why are you asking that?" "No, nothing." Cheng Yiren waved her hand. "You were originally senior brother. Is calling you senior brother not enough?" But Yan Mo looked thoughtful. "Except for the first time I met you at the reception in 11th grade. You called me senior brother. I have never heard you call me that again. Ah, I really miss that time." Cheng Yiren laughed. "You can call me that in the future. You can still call me that in the future." Yan Mo smiled. "Let's go, little junior sister." Cheng Yiren forced a smile. "Little junior sister." A few days later, the school's student union held a meeting. The departments sent representatives to the meeting. As a passerby from the arts department, Cheng Yiren was sent. The dark conference room was packed with people. She had a hard time finding a place to stand. Suddenly she heard someone calling her name. Cheng Yiren raised her head to look over, smiled at that person, but didn't expect him to say so naturally, "Cheng Yiren, I saved a seat for you. Come here and sit." His voice was not loud, but it was enough for everyone around to hear clearly. Seeing that she was motionless, he did not urge her, gently sat down and let out a few words, "Little junior sister." Everyone's gazes immediately changed, so under the curious gazes, Cheng Yiren bravely walked out, using a stiff face to sit next to Yan Mo. She carefully reached out, pulled his sleeve, smiled bitterly and said, "Senior brother Yan, please spare me." Senior brother Yan sat at the top. His expression was upright and righteous. Tilted his head to look at her. "What's wrong?" I'm just taking up a seat for you. No need to thank me. Cheng Yiren begged him in a low voice, "Senior brother. I sincerely thank you. It's just that I really don't need the seat above." "Really?" Yan Mo put down the notebook, propped his chin with one hand and looked at her. "But what should I do? My seat is fixed. So, it has nothing to do with me. Right?" Cheng Yiren glared at him. The hall was packed with people. The young man had a profound face, a gentle side profile, and slowly smiled at his friend. Cheng Yiren suddenly felt her heart beat faster. So, Yan Mo retracted his posture, leaned back in his chair, and opened his mouth as lightly as the wind and drifting clouds. "My position from now on is also fixed." Huh, was this being played with? Cheng Yiren silently lowered her head, secretly taking out her phone to see how red her face was. Ellipsis. On Friday morning, after class, Cheng Yiren made an appointment to meet Wen Yutang at the cafeteria for lunch. Wen Yutang sent her a message. The professor taught overtime again. "Wait for me a moment. I'll be out in 10 minutes tilde." Cheng Yiren replied, "Okay," and then randomly found a row of seats to sit down and play with her phone. Suddenly, there was another person beside her. She turned to look. "Yan Mo, why are you here?" Yan Mo pointed at the tray in her hand. "Not calling senior brother?" "All right," Cheng Yiren obediently called out. "Senior brother." Yan Mo looked at her unhurried appearance and asked, "Have you eaten or not?" Cheng Yiren turned the phone around. "Haven't eaten yet." Yan Mo frowned, put down his chopsticks and picked up the tray. When he returned to stand beside her, his tall figure enveloped her, slowly opening his mouth. "Just in time. I haven't eaten either. Let's eat together." Cheng Yiren, who witnessed everything, degree. Yan Mo's eyes were filled with laughter. "Didn't you eat yet? Let's eat together." Cheng Yiren realized that she couldn't compete with him. With such a thick skin, how could she compete? Just as the phone rang, Cheng Yiren picked it up. Wen Yutang's voice on the other end was especially clear. "Yiren, let me tell you, I can't make it. Professor Dàng made me go to a meeting with him. Sorry." Cheng Yiren comforted her friend. "It's okay, let's do it next time." Hanging up the phone, Cheng Yiren faced Yan Mo, who was smiling. When she followed him out, she couldn't help but sigh. Even God is helping this shameless person. The two of them chose a simple restaurant, sat down, and a waiter came to give them the menu. Yan Mo took the menu and handed it to her. "You choose." Cheng Yiren didn't mind taking it, flipped it open and wrote. The two of them chose 3 main dishes and 1 soup. The two of them sat across from each other. In the noisy restaurant, Yan Mo suddenly opened his mouth. "Why don't I see your roommate?" Cheng Yiren, "I don't have a roommate." Yan Mo frowned, signaling her to continue. "When we changed dormitories, we drew lots. Out of 18 female students, 2 people had to share a room. I and a random draw coincided. But after she brought her things to the room, she stayed outside and never came back." Yan Mo frowned even more. "Aren't you afraid of being alone in a room?" Cheng Yiren paused slightly. Was he concerned about her? She opened her mouth slightly, her tone somewhat embarrassed. "Actually, I rarely go back to the dormitory. I usually stay at a boarding house outside." Yan Mo felt strange. "Didn't our tutor check?" Cheng Yiren smiled slightly. "Your tutor, she did check. And yet you're still outside?" Cheng Yiren still kept a smile on her lips, softly replying, "The tutor's husband's surname is Cheng." Cheng Yiren. "Is it Miss Jiang Jinqian?" Cheng Yiren was surprised, blinking her eyes and asking him, "How do you know my mother's name?" Yan Mo sighed deeply. Not only did he know, but there was also a project to cooperate with her right now. What to do? The cooperating teacher was his future mother-in-law. Even someone as calm as Yan Mo felt nervous. He didn't reply. Cheng Yiren didn't ask either. While eating, she asked him, "Is there a Professor Lin Wu in your school? My mother has a project she's working on with him, but she doesn't have time these days, so she's preparing to hand it over to me." "Do you know Professor Lin Wu?" Yan Mo calmly took a sip of tea. "Oh, I know. What kind of person do you think Professor Lin Wu is? Is he fierce?" "Not fierce. It's just." Yan Mo put down his teacup and looked at her with regret. "Just what?" Yan Mo laughed meaningfully. "Professor Lin has already handed this over to his students, so you won't be able to meet him. As for what he's like, you probably don't need to find out." Cheng Yiren had no choice but to give up. His students. Then he must be easy to talk to. Yan Mo thought for a moment and replied firmly. Yeah, very easy to talk to. By Monday, Cheng Yiren finally understood that extremely easy to talk to student of Professor Lin. The appearance was eye-catching. The voice when talking was very pleasant. The temperament was also easygoing. So he was really easy to talk to. As expected of the last disciple of the great professor, the tasks were divided in 2 or 3 rounds. The members were all easy to handle. After receiving the materials, they dispersed. The materials that Cheng Yiren had to find were the most, because the people in charge were mainly Jiang Jinqian and Lin Yu. So Cheng Yiren had to carry the team. There were only the 2 of them in the conference room. Right at noon, when the sunlight was at its harshest, the yellow sunlight penetrated through the shutters and scattered small rays of light into the room. Yan Mo was behind her, staring at her for a long time, his eyes filled with a few more emotions. Cheng Yiren held a stack of documents in her arms. When she turned around to leave, she caught Yan Mo's gaze. Feeling confused, she touched her face. Is there something on your face? Yan Mo smiled. No. After speaking, he took the thing from her hand and walked forward. Let's go. His hands were suddenly empty. Cheng Yiren brushed her hair back and followed behind him. Where are we going? It's noon. Time to eat. Cheng Yiren stopped him and rushed in front of him. I'm not going to the cafeteria. I don't have class this afternoon. I'll go back to the inn. Yan Mo looked natural. I just have to go back to the inn. I'll take you a bit on the way. After speaking, she paused. No need to thank me. After all, you're my junior sister. Cheng Yiren's face darkened. I really didn't think about thanking you at all. Not even a little bit. As a result, when they arrived at the inn, Yan Mo didn't return to his room but went straight to hers. Cheng Yiren turned around and walked into the kitchen. Water or soda? Yan Mo put the documents in his hand on the edge of the table. Then found a random place to sit. Water. Not long after, she brought out 2 glasses of water, handing him one. After drinking, the 2 looked at each other. Cheng Yiren couldn't stand this situation. So she asked, aren't you going to go back? Yan Mo pretended to be suspicious. I brought the documents back for you. And I even sent you back. And you chased me away? Cheng Yiren was truly defeated by his shamelessness, looking at him with disdain. Do you want to stay here and eat a meal before going back? Senior brother Yan, can't you be a little more straightforward? Senior brother Yan looked at her with a look of understanding. Little junior sister, you're going to treat me to a meal. Then that would be an honor. TSK. Yan Mo not becoming an actor is truly a loss to the country. Forced under Yan Mo's lecherous power, Cheng Yiren rolled up her sleeves and walked into the kitchen. Yan Mo visited her room. The layout was clearly similar to his, but it was said to be completely different. The delicacy of a woman was displayed everywhere, not to mention a girl who had contact with art. There were many flower pots from small to large, and there were also dolls, and a few landscape paintings hung on the wall, probably made by her own hands. The lace curtains that touched the floor were also added with a layer of fabric. Fluttering in the wind, in the warm breeze, Yan Mo closed his eyes in satisfaction. After the 2 finished lunch, Cheng Yiren suddenly received a text message from Wen Yutang. Recently her friend had been tortured by Professor Zhang's Zhou Yi 1 ideology to the point of darkness, always asking her questions that had no beginning or end. Note 1. Zhou Yi, i.e. I Ching, is a classic book of China. It is a philosophical system of ancient East Asians. The basic philosophical thought is based on the principle of balance through opposition and change, transformation. Initially, the I Ching was considered a system for divination, but was later gradually developed by Chinese philosophers. Up to now, the I Ching has been supplemented with contents to interpret the meaning as well as convey ancient Eastern philosophical thoughts and is considered a quintessence of ancient Chinese learning. It is applied to many areas of life such as astronomy, geography, military, human destiny, question, prosperous nation, prosperous family, prosperous nation. What is the next sentence? Cheng Yiren bowed his head and thought, and answered very quickly, peaceful people. Peaceful people, peaceful people. Wrong. So, Wen Yutang laughed until he was shaking, and replied, damn it. Everyone just understand that Tang is acting on his own. angry to the point of cursing and even turning it into poetry. Cheng Yitang held the phone in his hand. The corner of his mouth contained a smile. Under the sunlight it seemed to shine. Legend has it that Bao Si was an extremely beautiful and charming beauty. King Zhou was infatuated with her but had never seen her smile. So he ordered that whoever could make her smile would be rewarded with 1,000 taels of gold. In order to make her smile, King Zhou Yu listened to a flatterer and lit a fire on a fire pole to summon the vassals. He played with the vassals and caused the loss of the Gao Jing. The decline of the Zhou dynasty began from here. This famous story is called Setting Fire to Play with the Vaishyas. After dinner, Yan Mo took Cheng Yiran back to school. Suddenly, someone saw his car at the side gate and waved. Zhu Rongji had been doing a little scientific research recently and had not been back to school for a long time. As soon as he stepped in, he saw a familiar car. He tried to wave, but the other side had already stopped. Yan Mo rolled down the car window. Back to the dormitory? Zhu Rongji raised his eyebrows. Yes. Then he jumped into his car. After getting in the car, she discovered that there was another person in the passenger seat. He called her name in an uncertain tone. Cheng Yiran. Cheng Yiran raised her head to look at the other person, somewhat unable to figure it out, and vaguely replied, yes. Then she turned her head back. At this moment, Yan Mo finally had a firm grasp on his heart. He didn't reveal anything on his face, and continued to talk to Zhu Rongji. How far has the experiment gone? Zhu Rongji was so frustrated that he let out a sigh. Don't talk anymore. Last night when you wrote the procedure, your master thought of all the serial numbers wrongly and directly cancelled them. Yan Mo was happy to see someone in trouble, and smiled. Professor Lin must have scolded him endlessly. It's been so long since he's done it. And it was cancelled just because of a serial number. TSK. A team leader like you must have been criticized. Zhu Rongji avoided her gaze and lazily replied, how far has your project with Professor Jiang gone? Is the other side a graduate student or an undergraduate working with you? Yan Mo didn't say anything. The corner of his mouth curled up, and he could see it clearly in the mirror. Zhu Rongji shook his head and smiled. No wonder he changed categories with him. Feng Huoji Zhu Zhuan. Let Lin explain here, as the annotation of this phrase at the beginning of the chapter shows. It can be understood that Zhu Rongji is implying that it was because of Cheng Yiran that Yan Mo changed categories with him. Arriving at the female dormitory, Cheng Yiran licked the corner of his lips. That, senior brother, I'll go back first. Okay, go. After she left, Yan Mo took out his phone and sent a text message. Zhu Rongji looked at someone's figure leaving, touched his chin and said, Cheng Yiran, did she forget about me or doesn't want to talk to me? The phone in Yan Mo's hand lit up, and he opened it to see. Cheng Yiran had a mild case of face blindness. Normally he would remember the people around him, but after not seeing them for a long time, he would forget. No wonder she was not surprised when she saw him in the elevator. But rather doubtful. No. Yan Mo started the car and drove away from the dormitory. She has face blindness. Face blindness? Yan Mo's lower jaw tensed, and he opened his mouth wide. I just found out too. Perhaps it would be more accurate to say that he just confirmed it than just found out. Ellipsis. In the afternoon, the sun hung in a corner of the gym, and on the practice field were all the 12th graders wearing white and blue uniforms. Standing on the stage was the principal wearing a black suit, while Cheng Yiran was keeping order behind him. She thought, in this weather, wearing so much, isn't he going to die of heat? However, before the principal died of heat, Cheng Yiran was about to be unable to bear it anymore. She moved towards Yan Mo, gently poked his waist, and whispered, I want to go back to the classroom. It's really too hot here. The girl had a beautiful appearance. Because of the hot weather, her cheeks were even more red. She looked even prettier than when she had makeup on. Blinking and blinking. Extremely moving. Yan Mo didn't force her. Go sit in the activity room for a bit. After the meeting there will be a parent-teacher meeting. I need to bring a few people to see the situation. Cheng Yiran happily exhaled. Check. What is it for? Can I not go? No. Hearing that, she had no choice but to dejectedly go back to the activity room. The life of a senior student. I don't want to experience it. I'm only a sophomore. Furthermore, checking discipline and hygiene every day. It's really tiring. When the parent-teacher meeting opens, Cheng Yiren will be entrusted to bring a group of people to check discipline to patrol. After walking around a bit, she slowly said, I still have something to do, so I'll go first. Then the team leader will be in charge. Goodbye, team leader, don't, with Kang's hand movements. Cheng Yiren sat comfortably and leisurely drawing in the studio, waiting for Wen Yutang to bring the watermelon. Wen Yutang, drenched in sweat, pushed open the studio door, and felt the cool breeze from the air conditioner in the room before exhaling and carrying the watermelon. Today, the 12th grade class is having a parent-teacher meeting. There are no teachers watching the gym. Everyone is running around like a swarm of bees to buy watermelons. I barely managed to snatch one. On the railing, outside the gym, there are all sorts of street vendors. They open food stalls every 4 to 5 o'clock. And on weekdays, there are always teachers patrolling. Today, the 12th grade class is having a meeting, and the teachers aren't here. So everyone ran over to buy. Cheng Yiren gave her friend a big hug. Oh Tilda Wen Yutang, you're so nice Tilda, and then rushed towards the watermelon. The two of them were used to doing easy things, so they took out a knife from the bright corner and cut each of them in half. Luckily, the melon wasn't big, and they didn't feel upset after eating it. When they walked out of the gallery and headed towards the classrooms, someone suddenly came to block her path, and after a long while, she finally said a few words. Cheng Yiren had a doubtful expression on her face. Do you have something to do? The person appeared decisive, looked at her, and said everything without missing a word. I've liked you for a long time. I often see you walking down this street, sometimes even carrying a sketch. Your whole body is so graceful and beautiful. I really like you. Cheng Yiren frowned. Sorry, I don't know you. The person clung to her. How could you not know me? Last year, when the student union added new members, I was the president of the propaganda department, and you were also in the propaganda department, although you were later recruited directly into the executive committee. Didn't we have a lot of contact at that time? Cheng Yiyuan's mouth twitched, intending to ignore the other person. I really don't know you. The other person kept chasing after her. Cheng Yiren's expression was reluctant. She couldn't help but raise her voice. Who are you exactly? Wen Yutang covered in front of her, hands on hips, said with an unhappy expression. My Yiren said she didn't know you. Why are you so stubborn? Don't you find it annoying? Yan Mo saw them pulling and pulling from afar. Only when he got closer did he understand what they were talking about. Don't know, we used to live together for more than a month. How could they not know? He was very suspicious in his heart, but he still walked over without changing his expression. Seeing the person coming, the other person felt a little more guilty, scratched his head and ran away. Yan Mo smiled and asked, Chen Kai, you ran away when you saw me. What's wrong? Chen Kai? Cheng Yiren remembered these two words. Her expression was confused. Yan Mo chuckled. Our former propaganda president. You won't forget, right? Wen Yutang immediately pulled her hand. Joking. No, our Yiran hasn't forgotten. Chen Kai. As he spoke, he nudged her with his elbow. Winking. Cheng Yiran reacted immediately. Ah, Chen Kai. I know, I haven't forgotten. At that time, Yan Mo thought that it was just her memory that wasn't good. After the parent-teacher meeting was held, Yan Mo and his mother went to visit the school. His mother's expression was unhappy. Look, there are only a few girls in your class. How did you find a girlfriend? You're so old and still single. Do you really have to make me worry like this? Yan Mo felt helpless. Mom, the parent-teacher meeting doesn't seem to talk about this. Could it be that the parent-teacher meeting doesn't talk about it? His mother was suspicious. Your homeroom teacher also said that there was someone in love in the class. I waited for the teacher to read your name. But in the end, the only result was that you were the top student. Yan Mo. Yan Mo looked up at the sky. Wasn't it right for her son to be like this? The corner of his eyes caught a figure. He retreated and followed his mother, chatting here and there. His eyes turned to Cheng Yiren, who was turning this way. Cheng Yiren's face curved as he looked at him, slowly walking over from behind. Yan Mo suddenly twitched the corner of his mouth, not making a sound. Go to the painting room to get things tonight. Cheng Yiren understood, nodded, and carried him to the painting room. Mother Yan saw that her son was uneasy, and couldn't help but reach out and knock his head. I'm talking to you. Why didn't you listen to me? Also, why did you retreat? His mother was already angry. Yan Mo sighed. I was just talking to your future daughter-in-law. But I interrupted. Mother Yan immediately opened her eyes wide, looking everywhere. Tell me. I promise I was only peeking at her. Yan Mo held onto her mother. No, she's gone. I'm afraid you scare her. Mother Yan was unhappy. Why did you scare her? Yes. Mom won't scare anyone. It's just not done yet. Be a little more modest. Not done yet. This kid is too slow. In Mom's eyes, it should be over before the college entrance exam. Go make love. Quote. More importantly than passing the exam. What was his mother thinking? Was the college entrance exam really unnecessary? Yan Mo returned to the dormitory. And after a while he sat in front of the computer. Zhu Rongji finished washing his face and poked his head back to look at it a few times before frowning. This program looks a bit familiar. He was still indifferent. It's just hacking a phone. Regarding this, Zhu Rongji only smiled faintly. Someone like you is worthy of competing with me. You don't have any professional ethics. Hearing this, Yan Mo raised his eyebrows. Who taught me to write this program? That person is really greedy. Zhu Rongji closed his eyes and lazily replied, Isn't that a desperate situation? I'm also a desperate situation. Yan Mo finished typing the last data, pressed the enter key, and in the blink of an eye, all the other party's information appeared. He scrolled down to the bottom. Although your method is very evil, I have to admit that it is very effective. Cheng Yuren? Yeah, daughter. Zhu Rongji felt sympathetic and nodded. Although it's evil, I have to admit that this is the most effective method. Actually, Yan Mo didn't do anything bad. He just wanted to help Cheng Yuren clean up her phone. Too much trash. For example, ride-hailing apps, he'll drive, delete. Food ordering apps, he'll cook, delete. Some games, he can write one in a few minutes. So delete. So after waking up from her nap, Cheng Yuren discovered that the only software left on her phone was shopping apps and chat apps. What's going on? She downloaded it again. No way. Why couldn't it download? Then, there was a reminder notification. She opened it angrily. Study hard. Play less. Yan Mo, I hate you. Cheng Yuren held the phone, poked it hard, and the damn notification popped up again. Your device cannot install this app. Hacked Weibo. Now hacked the phone. She fell onto the bed, resentfully looking at the lit computer, silently praying, You must not be hacked. Otherwise I have no way to work. Thinking of this, Cheng Yuren sat up straight, called her father. The other side quickly picked up the phone. He smiled and asked, What's wrong with Xiaoran? Why are you suddenly calling me? Cheng Yuren lowered her voice, deliberately revealing the choking in her voice. Dad. Sure enough, the other side immediately asked anxiously, What's wrong? I'm here. What happened? Cheng Yuren lowered her head. Your phone was hacked. Weibo was hacked too. The other side thought something had happened, but it turned out to be this small matter, and immediately breathed a sigh of relief. It's okay. Wait a moment. Bring your phone to me. I'll help you install a firewall. After a pause, he added, Bring your computer too. I'll install a firewall for you to protect your safety. Yeah, Dad. You're the best, Tilda. Cheng Yuren hugged the phone and acted spoiled. Dad, I love you to death. Asterisk. A few days later, Yan Mo suddenly found that he couldn't contact Cheng Yuren, and the phone call was always in the state of user out of coverage area. So he turned on his computer to see what was wrong with her phone. Ding. The user has blocked your actions. When Yan Mo tried to break in, the other party directly cut off his system. Cut off. Ellipsis. At this moment, Yan Mo, the proud flower of the computer academy, the one who had the honor of winning countless times the programming design championship, couldn't believe his eyes. Then a few words slowly appeared on his computer, Zheng software. Then his computer, chaos. The computer installed the firewall that he was most proud of. But chaos. He was actually hacked back. Are you kidding? Doing nothing at this time was definitely not his style. Yan Mo immediately took out the backup computer, preparing to synchronize the IP with the other computer, not expecting the other party to temporarily stop attacking. Coming so suddenly, leaving was also a matter of a blink of an eye. He was a little surprised. Zheng software? I think I've heard of it. Zheng. Just as Zhu Rongji walked over, Yan Mo asked him, do you know Zheng software? Zhu Rongji looked at him with a strange expression, swallowed his saliva, and spat out a few words. It's Cheng Yuren's father's company. Don't tell me you don't know it. A sentence that woke up the person in his dream. After being reminded by his friend like that, Yan Mo understood. No wonder it sounded so familiar. Seeing that he didn't say anything, Zhu Rongji reached out and shook it in front of him. Why are you suddenly asking this? Yan Mo shrugged, telling his friend one thing at a time. My computer was hacked back just now. It was Zheng's software. Thinking of how he had just been hacked, Zhu Rongji couldn't help but laugh. Cheng Yuren was driven crazy by you. Otherwise, how could she let her father install a protection system? Yan Mo raised his eyebrows, clearly using the same tactics to pursue. Why is it my turn to be so miserable? Zhu Rongji exclaimed, because my future father-in-law is not good at computers. To be exact, he is not as good as me. Then he sympathized with Yan Mo, stepped forward to pat his friend on the shoulder, and comforted him. I also heard that Cheng Yuren's father is the protege of the Turing Award winner. 1. Yan Mo. The revolution has not yet succeeded. Comrade still needs to work hard. Note. 1. Turing Award. An annual award by the Association for Computing Machinery for individuals or groups with important contributions to the computer science community. Considered the Nobel Prize for Computer Science. Therefore, a week later, Yan Mo did not leave his computer. So a week later, Yan Mo didn't leave the computer. Ting. Ha tilde, this sound is so wonderful tilde. Yan Mo opened Cheng Yuren's phone. Secretly proud. What about the favorite student of the Turing Award winner? One day I will also receive this award. But Cheng Yuren was not in a good mood. The atmosphere in the drawing room was not good either. Everyone was extremely busy today. She asked the person next to her in a low voice. What's wrong? Why didn't everyone say anything today? That person looked around, then replied, today's class test. You won't forget, right? Cheng Yuren didn't forget, but it was just a test. How could it make everyone panic? The other party continued. This time is different from last time. Everyone drew lots for a different painting topic. Moreover, the time was only 20 minutes. Teacher Jiang is really crazy. Cheng Yuren's mouth, which was curling up, suddenly stiffened. Why didn't that gentle and charming mother of hers say a word when she was at home? Definitely not her biological child. After the test, she felt exhausted all over. And when she handed in her test paper, she didn't care, but she gave her mother a resentful look. When she finished packing and went out, the outside suddenly became a bit more noisy. Oh, isn't this Yan Mo from the Computer Academy? Why is he here? Student Council President Yan Mo. There was also a voice of infatuation. So handsome. Computer Academy? So handsome. Oh my god. Cheng Yuren wanted to find a place to run down quickly. She didn't want to be famous. But senior Yan Mo, with his quick eyes and hands, caught her, and slowly walked over from the crowd, gently calling out to her, Cheng Yuren, I've been waiting for you for a long time. Outside were all her classmates. At this moment, most of them were looking at her with, I understand, eyes. Then excitedly turned around and left. It was over. Who in our class was serious? There must be a misunderstanding. Cheng Yuren held her forehead and helplessly said, Senior brother Yan, why are you here? The Fine Arts building really isn't a place to play. What are you doing here? Yan Mo took a few steps towards her and smiled. It's nothing. I just came here to see you. Is it beautiful? A voice suddenly came from behind, and the two of them looked back at the same time. Jiang Jingqian was holding a rolled-up painting in her hand, smiling as she looked at the two of them. Seeing that they didn't say anything, she asked back, Is Cheng Yuren beautiful? Jiang Jingqian approached them and asked, Who are you? Yan Mo answered seriously, I'm Yan Mo, Yi Ran's senior in high school. I'm currently studying at the Information Technology Institute, and I'm Professor Lin Yu's student. Yi Ran and I have a completely proper senior-junior relationship, and I have excellent academic performance. So I'm not playing around. Teacher, Yan Mo. Jiang Jingqian recited his name a few times, then suddenly raised her eyebrows and smiled, slowly replying, Yan Mo. No wonder I find this name so familiar. Didn't my Yi Ran like you back then? Mom, Cheng Yi-ran's fur immediately bristled. She stepped forward, took the scroll from her mother's hand, made a face at her, and said, Mom, didn't you want to take these things back? I'll help you. Ha ha ha. Jiang Jingqian's expression was somewhat awkward. But you want to take them home? Isn't that someone not going home? I'll go home. Now, whatever her mother said, she would agree, as long as she didn't mention the love letter from that year. Everything would be okay, but it seemed like she wasn't very lucky today. Jiang Jingqian pointed at Yan Mo and said, Didn't you like him? Why didn't you go out together? Why did you want to go home with your mother? Cheng Yiren died and asked to burn some paper money to send down. When she heard the word, like, Yan Mo was stunned and scared. Jiang Jingqian was truly a god's helper. Seeing this, she added, You even wrote a love letter? What? Did you dare to write it but not accept it? Clang! The scroll in Cheng Yiren's hand fell to the ground. She was extremely confused, and she squatted down to pick it up in panic. Her face red. What love letter? Yan Mo wondered. I didn't receive any love letter. Of course you didn't receive it. That letter was thrown into the trash by her father. Jiang Jingqian said softly. The essay is really good. Maybe her college entrance exam essay isn't even half as good as that letter. After saying that, she waved her hand. Sigh. No, I still have to go to class tonight. Wai Ran, bring your stuff back. I still have to look at it tonight. Cheng Wai Ran stood up straight, not looking at Yan Mo. How could she have the face to look at him? She lowered her head and said softly, Senior, please move aside. She took a step forward, and Yan Mo also took a step forward. She turned around, and Yan Mo followed suit. Cheng Wai Ran was still holding the class's homework. When she looked up at him, she looked extremely aggrieved. You let me go. Without further ado, Yan Mo took the homework from her hand, not mentioning what happened earlier, and only said, Didn't you want to draw my hand? I came to find you. I came to find you. In the vast sea of people. I came to find you. The awkward atmosphere suddenly disappeared. Cheng Yiren nodded blankly, turned around and entered the painting room, washed the palette, took out a brush, and set up the easel. Yan Mo sat not far from her, quietly watching and asking, What pose should I sit in? Just sit. Whatever. As time passed, Cheng Yiren painted very attentively. He was very handsome, with bright dark brown eyes, thick eyebrows, a straight nose, and every time he smiled, he looked so warm. How could she not like him? If she didn't like him, how could she recognize him at first sight? Except for her family and Wen Yutang, she couldn't remember anyone clearly. But Yan Mo was different. He was really different. Even though she hadn't seen him for 2 years, she still remembered him. She must like him, right? Cheng Yiren took a deep breath, the tip of her brush gently sliding. After she finished painting, she smiled slightly. Yan Mo saw this and walked over, and frowned when she saw the painting. Eyes. Cheng Yiren bit her lip and said, Sorry, Senior. I suddenly wanted to draw your eyes. She lowered her head and smiled. The sunlight shining through the window cast a brilliant golden light on her. Yan Mo's heart was moved. He reached out to touch her hair and said, It's okay, give me this painting. Huh? Isn't it a drawing of me? Cheng Yi-ran's mouth twisted. But, Senior, what do you want to say? Or should I draw another one for you? Cheng Yi-ran resolutely raised her head and said, I'll draw your hand. Then I'll hang it up. I guarantee it. Yan Mo smiled, the corners of his mouth raised to a perfect angle. He said meaningfully, Why don't you give me this one? Because you're afraid I'll reject you? Cheng Yi-ran looked at him in surprise. What? I've never received a love letter from you before. So you always thought I rejected you. And then you were afraid I'd reject you again, right? Yan Mo leaned down to her height, looked straight at her and continued, How could I reject you? Yi-ran. Cheng Yiren ran away. These past few days, the phrase, How could I refuse you, kept repeating in her head. And his lingering voice when he called her, Yiren. Ah. Cheng's father shook his head, showing his dissatisfaction with his wife. Look. It's been so long, why are you still talking about love letters? Making your daughter so absent-minded these past few days. Jiang Jingqian flipped through the book, glaring at him and saying, Absent-minded is a bad word. Okay, but do normal girls scream like that at home? Jiang Jingqian laughed. At night, During the day, sometimes. Cheng Yiren's footsteps as she walked down slowed down. She pouted. Mom, who said that to their daughter? Jiang Jingqian shrugged and replied, Mom still expects me to play around day and night. But I haven't found a boyfriend yet. Cheng Yiren lowered her head and said softly, Mom, I miss him. Jiang Jingqian's face paled. She put down the book in her hand and walked over to her daughter, asking doubtfully, Who do you remember? Yan Mo. I remember him. Cheng Yiren smiled at her. Her eyes curved beautifully. I haven't seen him for 2 years. Even though I didn't recognize him at first glance, I remembered him after a closer look. Jiang Jingqian carefully asked, You really remember? Cheng Yiren still nodded, saying confidently, I remember. Jiang Jingqian took a deep breath, patting her daughter's shoulder. Then you might have to play around day and night again in the future. It's so uncomfortable. Quote. Asterisk. The school was so big. They definitely wouldn't meet. Furthermore, one of them studied in the east, the other in the west. It was truly the farthest distance in the world. If they didn't meet, they definitely wouldn't meet. Cheng Yiren went to school with that mentality. It was true that they wouldn't see each other when they were studying. But how could they escape when they were working on a project? You think you can escape? Cheng Yiren sighed. There's no way to escape. You have him in your heart. There's no way to hide. Cheng Yiren chose the farthest seat from him, and lowered her head, only raising her head to pack her things when she heard the announcement, the meeting is over. After saying goodbye to everyone, she had to check everything again. Cheng Yiren blinked and looked at Yan Mo sitting on the other side, saying, Senior, aren't you busy? Yan Mo didn't even bother to look at her once before replying, What am I busy with? Or, do you hope I'm busy? Cheng Yiren didn't expect that in front of her brother she would be so absent-minded. She couldn't even speak properly. She continued, Senior, I'll pack these things. Or are you? Or should I go back first? Yan Mo chuckled, directly threw the things in his hand on the table, slowly spitting out 3 words, Impossible. The light in the room gradually dimmed. From the bottom of her heart, Cheng Yiren suddenly wondered if the handsome boy in front of her was the one she liked. Did she really like him? Yan Mo approached her, when he was about half a meter away. He leaned against the table, slightly bent over, and spoke in a seductive voice, Cheng Yiren, tell me, why did you think I would reject you? His eyelashes were longer than those of a normal boy, and when he blinked, he looked very attractive. Cheng Yiren heard herself reply. Her soft whispering voice echoed throughout the room, I always thought I gave that letter to you. But there was no reply. I thought you didn't like me. I also just found out that the letter was thrown into the trash by my dad. So you like me, right? He raised his hand to lift her face. His face filled with laughter. His voice gentle and pleasant to the ears. Then why didn't you tell me? Why did you hide? Tell me, Cheng Yiren. Cheng Yiren bit her lip and didn't speak. What should she say? She was afraid that he would find out about her face blindness and then be rejected. Or was she afraid that he wouldn't like her? She didn't dare say anything, so she just hid away, as if he could guess what she was thinking. Yan Mo continued to ask, knowing that I would give up on you when I found out that you were face blind? Or was she afraid that I didn't like you enough? You don't need to worry about the latter. I've liked you since high school. I've been waiting for you since I went to university. It can't be for this reason. So it's the former reason. Yan Mo frowned, the corners of his mouth raised. I don't care if you can recognize other people. You just need to recognize me. How loud was the sound of flowers blooming? How loud was the sound of birds flapping their wings? Fireworks suddenly bloomed in her heart, each one more beautiful than the world. Cheng Yiren choked up. How did you know that I was face blind? I suspected it since that time in the elevator. And later, when I remembered what happened before, I went to ask Wen Yutang. And you still like me? Maybe one day I'll forget you. Cheng Yiren's tears were glistening, but she had to force herself not to let them fall. You dare? Yan Mo gritted her teeth and said, You dare to forget me? Cheng Yiren suddenly laughed. A tear fell. She didn't care and smiled brightly and replied, I won't forget you, Yan Mo. After saying that, she straightened up, raised her head and kissed him. It was just a fleeting kiss. As soon as it touched her, she pulled back, her face flushed. Yan Mo smiled and looked at her. Did you see the computer yesterday? Cheng Yiren nodded, her eyelashes trembling. Did you see the message I sent you? Yes. What did I say? Tell me again. Yan Mo pressed his face against hers. Their breaths were light and warm, wafting over each other's faces. Don't leave me. Cheng Yiren read the message he sent. At that moment, the computer screen was pitch black. Only those 5 words moved. There's another half. Do you want to hear it? What? She suddenly raised her head. Yan Mo leaned down to kiss her, their lips and teeth touching, both gentle and possessive. That is, I love you so much. I love you so much. So please don't leave me. After finishing, Cheng Yiren remembered this and silently covered her eyes with her hand. Boys nowadays are so skilled at hacking computers. They don't feel embarrassed to say sweet words. And they only say half of it. Half first. Half after finishing the job, no matter what. In this life, she finally met her soulmate. Finally used these eyes to remember the person she deeply loves. Full text. Muchi. Gu Changzi felt that going to school was really pitiful. Not only did she have to do homework, she also had to memorize. She hated going to school. Gu Yan didn't even bat an eyelid after hearing that. He just leisurely said, "It's useless to hate it. You still have to read for another 20 years. 20 years. How scary. I'm only 3 years old." Gu Changzi's eyes opened wide, and a second later tears immediately flowed out. The little girl sat on the floor crying. Gu Shen, who was in the room, suddenly heard her little sister crying, jumped up and ran over to hug her, softly comforting her. "Changzi, don't cry. Changzi is very good. Crying won't make you pretty." Hoo. Her nose was showing sparkling snot. She wiped it all over her second brother and choked out, "Second brother, I don't want to go to school. There's too much homework at school." Gu Shen couldn't help but laugh bitterly. He said, "Going to school is really fun. Having friends to read with, eating with you, and even going out to play outside the city. But there's a lot of homework. I hate doing homework." "Then what do you like?" Gu Changzi's big eyes rolled back and forth, trying to please him. "I like second brother." Gu Shen curled the corners of his lips, in a very good mood. "What else? What else?" Gu Changzi frowned, spread out his fingers, counting them one by one. "Like dad, like mom, like you, like second brother too." Gu Yan, who was listening from the side, had a dark face. He said coldly, "Don't like you? Don't like?" Gu Changzi in Gu Shen's heart suddenly had 100 times more courage. "Dad always holds me high. Mom feeds me delicious food. Second brother tells me fairy tales. You're the best. You always buy delicious food for me." Just as Gu Rong passed by, he heard Gu Changzi say that. So he asked Qin Xian, what did Yi Zisheng buy for her again that she likes him so much? Qin Xian had no choice but to say, "Yi Zisheng brought a roast duck over here, and a box of cream puffs." Cream puffs. They're always eaten on weekends. And you still eat them? Gu Rong frowned. Qin Xian sighed. She picked up Gu Changzi, reached out to touch her little nose. "What can I do? My daughter loves to eat them so much." Gu Rong frowned when she heard that, and said softly, "Why does he care?" Qin Xian was wiping Gu Changzi's nose. Not hearing what her husband said clearly, she called out suspiciously, "Huh." He turned around and left the room, saying gloomily, "My daughter, I'm the one who spoils her. One son is not enough. There are 2 at home. Why does Yi Zisheng care?" The next day, after work, Gu Rong deliberately took a big detour to Chengxi to buy a few boxes of cream puffs. When he got home, he saw his precious heart sitting at the door, chin propped up in both hands, eyes wide open. It was the time when the afternoon sun was setting. A large patch of orange sunlight shone down, shining on the little girl. Gu Rong's heart instantly softened. He slowed down his steps, walking towards the door. 10 minutes late, Gu Changzi said in a low, dejected voice. Still young. His voice wasn't exactly standard. Still a baby-like sound. The little girl looked back. The minute hand on the clock was still spinning. Gu Changzi pointed at Gu Shen, asking, "Second brother, tell me, is it true that dad didn't come home for dinner, and he wants to work overtime again?" Gu Rong came from the other side of the garage, so Gu Changzi couldn't see him. Hearing this, he was a little surprised. Did his little daughter wait for him to get off work like this every day? Then Gu Shen's pleasant voice came. No, Dad already promised Changzi. He will definitely come back. Then how much longer? I haven't seen Dad for 8-10. The little girl's voice became softer. I miss Dad so much. Big brother. It was heartbreaking to hear. Gu Rong hurriedly quickened her pace, walking in front of her little daughter. Gu Changzi turned around and saw Gu Rong. Joy was evident on her face. She cried out, Hoo, Dad, you're back. Gu Rong turned around and hugged the little girl. Yes, I'm home, my baby. Gu Changzi brought her face up to rub his cheeks, smiling. Daddy, your beard is so sore. Gu Rong smiled. I haven't shaved for 2 days. Will our little Changzi shave for Dad? Gu Changzi's clear voice rang out. No need. Gu Rong was stunned. Why? Because that's Mom's job. The little girl's expression seemed to say that it was natural. Then her small hands touched Gu Rong's face, saying very seriously, Mommy will help Daddy shave. Changzi will kiss Daddy. For a short while, the famous CEO of City C was speechless. Seeing that Daddy didn't say anything, Gu Changzi kissed Daddy on the face again. Thinking about it, it wasn't enough. Kissing left and right, acting spoiled. Changzi misses Daddy so much. So today I must kiss Daddy twice. Gu Rong's heart was filled with tenderness. Who said someone like him couldn't have deep affection? Who said he didn't understand gentleness? Gu Rong softly said, yeah, Daddy misses Changzi too. Misses him so much. Misses him so much. Gu Changzi's smiling face all gathered together. She said, then Daddy also kissed Changzi twice. Because Mommy said, misses someone so much, you must kiss that person. Gu Rong lowered his head and kissed her face very gently and tenderly. Gu Changzi shook his head, pointed at his mouth and said, no, Dad, kissing Changzi's lips. Mom always kisses Changzi's lips. Gu Rong shook his head. Dad doesn't kiss me there. Why? The little girl tilted her head, her ponytail hanging down, the small and soft hair sliding on his skin. Gu Rong's heart softened even more. He said, because that place belongs to my other half. Other than her, no one else can kiss it. What is other half? My mom is my other half. Gu Rong said, my other half is my husband. Right, the little girl thought of it very quickly. Right, then, my brother can't be allowed either? Gu Changzi was troubled. She also loved her brother very much. No, Mom can't be allowed either? No, Gu Rong said, Mom can be. He put his daughter down, letting her walk by herself. Gu Shen followed closely behind. The three of them circled around the villa and headed towards the main entrance. Gu Rong said, your mother gave you life, gave you love, so she can. Gu Changzi nodded in understanding, smiling and holding his father's hand, then looked back, reaching out to Gu Shen. Brother. Gu Shen took a step forward, reaching out to lead the little girl. Brother, from now on, you can only kiss my cheeks. You can't kiss my mouth. Gu Changzi said seriously, although you never kissed before. Gu Shen laughed when his sister said that. But brother, I love you very much. Gu Changzi loves you very much. Second brother, how much? Love. Love very much. Love very much. Gu Shen took the big package that Gu Rong had given him before, and asked tentatively, then, can you give me all the cream puffs? I love you so much anyway. Right? Yes. Gu Changzi blinked in confusion, staring at the bag of cream puffs until his mouth watered. Brother. Huh? Gu Shen, despite being busy, still leisurely looked at the little girl. What's wrong? Changzi really wants to eat. The little girl let go of her hand, hugged Gu Shen with both hands, and acted spoiled with him. Brother, I want to eat. Then can I have some? Gu Shen handed the cream puff to her. Gu Changzi nodded, then shook his head. Brother, you can only eat a little. Just a little. Gu Shen's face darkened. Didn't you say you love me very much? But Big Brother also likes to eat. I also love very much Big Brother. Second brother, let's only eat a little. We have to leave a little for Big Brother to eat too. Gu Changzi said. Gu Shen and Gu Rong were both stunned. Gu Rong patted her little daughter's head, amazed at her understanding, but Gu Shen never thought that the little girl would remember Gu Yan's preferences. Gu Shen asked, then do you know what Big Brother likes to eat? Big Brother likes to eat spicy crayfish. the little girl answered without thinking. Gu Shen smiled. Yeah, Changxi is so smart. To remember everything. Of course. Gu Changxi ate the cream puff, proudly patting her chest. Changxi is so smart. Yes, yes, yes. Our Changxi is the smartest. Gu Shen replied, then took out a tissue from his pocket to help the little girl wipe the milk off the corner of her mouth. On Christmas Eve, Gu Yan was taken to Shen Kishan. That morning, after double-checking his luggage according to the prepared list, Gu Yan called Qin Xian. Mom. Qin Xian handed him some milk, smiled, and said, drink your milk first. Gu Yan stopped thinking, picked up the cup of milk, looked at it for a long time, then raised his head and drank it all in one gulp. Actually, he didn't like drinking milk, but his mother had said that milk would help balance his nutrition. He really listened to his mother's instructions. Qin Xian took the empty cup, put it aside, then sat on the edge of the bed, looking at her eldest son. This was her and Gu Rong's first child, but he wasn't the child she was most looking forward to. At that time, she had just graduated from university, and after marrying Gu Rong, she still wanted to enjoy the world of two people. She had originally planned to wait 2 years before thinking about having a child. But she didn't expect that only half a year after getting married, she was pregnant. Excited, nervous, happy, and a little bit in disbelief. But when she put her hand on her stomach, her breathing felt different from usual. Wow, this was the continuation of their lives, a testament to their feelings. The more she thought about it, the happier she became, the more excited she became. Qin Xian looked at Gu Yan standing in front of her. He was only 10 years old, and his face was extremely handsome. Even if he was lost in a crowd, he could still be recognized. When she brought Gu Yan to Han Yun's company, although the other child actors were also very cute, they were not as good as her eldest son. Yet today, she had to send him away. Ah Yan, Qin Xian called out to him, asking, you still have time, tell me, do you want to stay home? Gu Yan lowered his head, pondered for a moment before answering his mother. I want to go. As soon as he finished speaking, he discovered that a little disappointment appeared on his mother's face. Was it because of him? He was a little flustered, and quickly explained, Mom, I don't want to go to the other side because I want to leave you, but because I want to be the best big brother. Gu Yan's IQ was very high. Even if he stayed in China, he would only have the option of skipping a grade. So his father, Gu Rong, suggested that he could study abroad. The education level there was the best in the world, and he could study in the best environment, with people with similar IQs to himself. Gu Yan thought for a long time, then agreed, I'm the eldest brother, and in the future, I want to be a solid support for you, Gu Shen, and Changxi. Mom, don't worry, don't be sad, I'll be back soon. Qin Xian's eyelashes were wet with tears, and she could only see the confusion before her eyes, and softly called out, Yan, Mom. Gu Yan rarely smiled. Your son is promising. Why are you crying? Smile. You're the prettiest when you smile. At this moment, Gu Yan seemed to have come back to life. In the past, he had always been quiet and reserved. His face, which had never shown happiness, sadness, or disappointment, now showed a smile. Qin Xian smiled. No, Mom is very happy. Gu Yan softly called out, Mom, I will miss you. Qin Xian's tears were especially heavy today. Hearing her son say that, she immediately burst into tears. At this moment, Gu Rong also entered the room. Seeing his beloved wife lowering her head to wipe away her tears, he immediately walked over and bent down to hug her. He roughly understood what was going on, but he didn't know how to comfort her. How should he comfort her? After all, he was the one who suggested Gu Yan go abroad. But going abroad was the best choice for Gu Yan. He lowered his head and looked at Qin Xian. Why are you crying? It's not like you won't come back. Besides, you're at your grandfather's place. He will definitely take good care of Yan. Qin Xian's 2 hands grabbed Gu Rong's clothes, venting all her anger on him. It's all your fault. It's your fault for letting the child go abroad. Gu Rong had no choice but to accept it. Then, somehow, Gu Changxi also entered the room. Seeing Gu Yan bowing his head to wipe his tears, his mother hugging his father and crying, with a large suitcase beside him, Her emotions exploded, crying loudly, "Brother, don't go, don't go." She cried very sadly, her small mouth opened wide, her voice resounding, crying to the point that the ceiling seemed to fall down, and her tonsils were visible. Gu Changxi closed her eyes, hugged Gu Yan's thigh tightly, and cried loudly, "Changxi will be good from now on. Won't secretly eat snacks, will study hard, will listen to Big Brother, won't say Big Brother is ugly anymore, will definitely love Big Brother. Don't go, I don't want you to go anywhere." Gu Yan sniffed, turned around and hugged the little girl, his eyes red, looking at his only little sister. She was really sad, although she always said she didn't like him, but she really loved him. Blood ties, deep feelings. He still remembered, before, when he broke the vase from the Ming dynasty of his fourth uncle. He was only 7 years old at that time. He was so scared that he froze, not knowing what to do, but when Song Sinan asked with a serious face who broke it, Gu Changxi immediately stood up and admitted his guilt. The little girl said, "Fourth uncle, it's my fault, I accidentally broke the vase." Who didn't know that young Master Song loved Gu Changxi the most? So in the blink of an eye, she calmed down. That night before going to bed, she ran to Gu Yan's room, softly comforting him, "Big brother, don't be afraid, Changxi will definitely protect you." At that time, Changxi was only 5 years old. After Gu Changxi entered elementary school, on the first day she came home from school, she brought a small bag of flower-shaped biscuits. When she saw him and Gu Shen coming home, she immediately ran over, hurriedly taking out the biscuits from the bag, smiling and saying, "Big brother, second brother, these biscuits are delicious. Changxi only ate 3, the rest are for you too." Gu Changxi was so gluttonous, but no matter what delicious food there was, the first people she thought of were the two of them. Gu Yan also loved his little sister very much, and always wanted to spoil her. He comforted her dryly, "Changxi, be good, don't cry." Gu Yan didn't know how to comfort others. He was not used to doing these things, and his personality was boring. The one who always comforted Gu Changxi was Gu Shen. One day, the atmosphere in the Gu family was still not very good. Finally arriving at the airport, Gu Rong said, "Remember to work hard when you get there. Don't embarrass your father." Gu Yan nodded and replied, "Yes." Qin Si Yin instructed, "Take care of yourself." Gu Yan agreed, "Yes." Gu Shen wished, "I don't know what to say either. Big brother, do your best." Gu Yan stepped forward, hugged his little brother, and instructed, "You're not home. Remember to take care of your little sister." Gu Shen, "Yes." Finally, it was Gu Changxi. Her nose was red from crying. She looked like a little rabbit, pitifully looking at Gu Yan. Although she felt very wronged, she still obediently said, "Big brother, you are the best. Remember Changxi, remember dad, remember mom, and second brother too. Everyone loves you too. Changxi will also remember you. Love you forever. Changxi will leave you delicious food. When you come back, give it all to you." Children are just that simple. You must remember me, and you must also remember everyone in the family. We will always love you. We love you very much. Gu Yan's tears rolled around, but in the end he couldn't hold them back. He squatted down, hugged the little girl and said, "Be good. Changxi, wait for Big Brother to come back." The little girl obediently replied, "Yes. Changxi will be good. Big Brother, you have to be good too." The airport loudspeaker rang. It was time for Gu Yan to leave. He waved his hand, said goodbye. "Dad, Mom, I'm going. Gu Shen, little sister, goodbye. On the way back, everyone was sad. By the time they got home it was already an hour later. When Gu Changxi opened the door, what greeted her was snowflakes. It's the first snow of the season. The little girl was instantly happy, dancing on the spot. "Mommy, Mom, it's snowing." Qin Si Yin also felt the snowflakes falling on her eyelashes, the small snowflakes fluttering in the winter wind. She wrapped the scarf around her daughter and said softly, "First snow of the season. Make a wish. Changxi, what do you wish for?" Changxi's hands formed a cross. Her face was extremely beautiful. Her eyes and brows were like paintings. She closed her eyes, sincerely, and slowly stated her wish, "I hope Big Brother is safe." After making her wish, Gu Changzi opened her eyes and smiled. Qin Xian was surprised. Is it over? It's over, Qin Xian cried when she heard her daughter's answer. Her daughter had truly been taught too well. Gu Rong also had the same feeling. She didn't need to be too talented in the future, nor did she need to become a treasure. She only hoped that her life would be peaceful, always kind and brave. In another place, the young boy was also looking up to the sky, making a wish. I only hope you live long. Blank, _ blank. The little girl had a disease of forgetfulness. Time passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, Gu Changzi had been in elementary school for a year. Every day was extremely busy. After school, she sat in the flower bed below the classroom, shaking her 2 pigtails, holding a piece of candy in her mouth. Everyone in her class had gone home. She sat here waiting for Gu Shen. Gu Shen was 2 years older than her, and had gone to school early. Now she was in 4th grade, finishing school 1 period later than her class. At first, Gu Changzi went to Gu Shen's class to wait, but her eye-catching appearance was too attractive. Everyone did not pay attention to studying, only interested in teasing her. So Gu Changzi had to wait downstairs. The dim sunlight shone on her, the evening light as the sunset lingered. Gu Changzi squinted at the clouds in the distance. Looking down, a basketball rolled to her feet. Gu Changzi placed both hands on the flower bed, nimbly jumped down, holding the basketball in both hands. Looking around suspiciously, very quickly someone ran over. That person was very tall, wearing a white shirt and khaki pants, bright eyes and sword-like eyebrows, looking extremely handsome, especially his voice was very nice. Little girl, can you give the ball back to me? Gu Changzi nodded blankly. That person patted the little girl's head, took the basketball, then took a candy from his pocket and gave it to Gu Changzi. Thank you. The little girl sweetly replied, it's nothing. That person quickly left. On the way home, Gu Changzi and Gu Shen chatted about this person. The little girl proudly recounted, just now, a handsome guy gave me a candy. Huh? Which handsome guy? The guy at the basketball court. Gu Changzi suddenly fell silent. It seems to be towards the school gate. Big brother, I forgot. The little girl frowned. Gu Shen smiled at her appearance. Well, is the candy delicious? I won't eat it. The little girl shook her head. Mom told me, you can't eat other people's junk. Gu Shen patted his little sister's head, looking satisfied. That's right. Our Changzi is really sensible. Of course, Changzi is not a little kid anymore. When the 2 of them got home, they discovered that there were people coming and going in the house next door. Gu Changzi grabbed Gu Shen's sleeve. Big brother, this is, Gu Shen said, we have new neighbors. Ah, Gu Changzi jumped up excitedly. There are new neighbors. Yeah. Gu Shen looked over to the other side. There were many people from the moving company coming and going. The 2 of them stood outside the door for a while before going inside, not taking this matter to heart. When it was time for dinner, Gu Rong asked, someone next door is moving in? Qin Xian took out the cookies from the oven. The aroma wafted through the kitchen and dining room. She placed the cookies on a plate and replied, that's right, they just moved in today. That person, you should know him, Qin Xian said. Who is he? Cheng Ziji. Gu Rong was stunned, then immediately laughed. So it's him. You actually know him. Qin Xian was a little surprised, and she sat down next to her husband. Gu Rong lowered her head. Before that, I almost dragged him to Gu Corporation. Oh, he works in the computer industry. No one in the country can get past him. When I was on Wall Street, I ran into him once. Gu Rong said, after I returned to China, Cheng Ziji opened his own company. No matter what, he wouldn't agree to go to Gu Corporation. A computer, Qin Xian recalled that clean and simple man, and said softly, I really didn't expect it at first glance. At first, Gu Changzi had been staring at the plate of cookies. Now that she saw her parents chatting so happily, she climbed down from her chair, slipped past Qin Xian, and stretched out her little hand to grab the cookies inside and put them in her mouth. Eating was so much fun. Hee. Qin Xian instantly regained her senses and looked at her daughter, whose mouth was full of cookies, with small crumbs still stuck to the corners of her mouth. She sighed, reached out to wipe them, and said softly, Changzi, you can't eat this. Gu Changzi squinted her eyes and smiled. Eat like a kitten. Gu Changzi nodded, finished eating everything in her mouth. And the little girl reached out to take more. No, Qin Xian said in a low voice. You can't eat this. This is mine. Suddenly reminded, Gu Shen was stunned. Mom, I don't eat sweets. Qin Xian, it's not me. The little girl pouted. Mommy, I want to eat. No, it's dinner time. If I eat cookies now, I won't be able to eat rice. Qin Xian had always been adamant about this principle. Gu Changzi lowered her head. Seeing that there was no way to eat, she returned to her seat. She ate a few spoonfuls of rice, then looked at Gu Rong with a pained face. Daddy, I want to eat cookies. Eat rice first. Changzi. Gu Rong smiled and said. Gu Changzi didn't listen, squirming. I want to eat cookies. I want to eat. I want to eat. Gu Rong immediately frowned. Eat rice first. Gu Changzi didn't dare to move. She lowered her head and slowly ate rice. Qin Xian knew her daughter was unhappy. Normally, she spoiled her, indulged her in everything, and got whatever she wanted. This habit was not good. She placed the cookies in front of Gu Changzi and whispered, This is for the neighbor's brother. Does Changzi want to go give it to Mom? Gu Changzi licked her tongue. Yes, but I still want to eat one, she added. Qin Xian said, There's still a lot in the kitchen. Wait until Changzi finishes dinner. Then I'll bring it out for you. Yes. The little girl jumped up, not even eating the rice. She grabbed the plate of cookies and ran to the neighbor's house. Next door, the moving company had just left. The people in the house were cleaning up. The house was a mess. Hearing the doorbell, Jiang Jingqian looked towards Cheng Moran. Go open the door. See who's here. Yes. Cheng Moran went to open the door. It was dark outside. The dim light of the lamp shone on him. Suddenly, he was stunned for a moment. You are brother. Gu Changzi was surprised. Wasn't this the brother he saw this afternoon? Cheng Moran suddenly smiled. His eyebrows relaxed. He squatted down and looked straight at her. You came to find me. Little girl, do you live here? Yes. The little girl nodded. This is for you. She handed him the plate of cake. She turned around, and when she reached the yard, she waved back at him. Brother, goodbye. Where do you live? Cheng Mo Ran asked. Gu Changxi pointed to the brightly lit villa next door. That's my house. Goodbye, brother. Goodbye, sister. Cheng Mo Ran also has a younger sister, named Cheng Yi Ran. The two of them are twins. Cheng Mo Ran has loved her younger sister very much since she was little. And Cheng Yi Ran has had face blindness since she was little. Therefore, after going to school, she often doesn't recognize anyone. Luckily, the two of them are the same age. This time, the two of them transferred schools, and their father arranged for the two of them to be in the same class. Coincidentally in the same class as Gu Shen. Recommended story, Eternal Life. So the three of them quickly became familiar with each other. Cheng Mo Ran still remembered Gu Shen's younger sister, Gu Changxi. During physical education class, Gu Changxi followed Cheng Yi Ran. The weather was too hot. Cheng Yi Ran bought her an ice cream, and the two of them stood on the crossbar. Not far away was the basketball court. Gu Shen and Cheng Mo Ran were playing there. Cheng Yi Ran really liked Gu Changxi. She was smart, adorable, and obedient. What's more important is that her brother seems to like Gu Changxi. Changxi. Yes, Sister Yiren. What's wrong? Changxi turned her head to look at her, her big eyes blinking like two grapes. Cheng Yiren asked, Do you like my brother? Changxi nodded. Yes. Like what? Just like it a lot, the little girl said innocently. This semester Cheng Yiren started reading romance novels, and had many dreams about love. She glanced at Gu Changxi, then looked at Cheng Moran sweating in the distance. Her brain immediately created a plot, and she couldn't stop laughing. The little girl scratched her head, looking at her neighbor in confusion. Sister Yiren, what are you laughing at? Nothing, nothing. Cheng Yiren rubbed her head. Eat some ice cream. Yes. Gu Changxi lowered her head to eat ice cream. Not far away was a basketball game, and Gu Shen and Cheng Moran were playing more and more fiercely. After school, Gu Changxi and Cheng Yiren ran over to give them water. Gu Changxi said, Big brother, I have to go to school. Okay, let's go. Gu Changxi ran to Cheng Moran. Big brother, Changxi is going to school now. Goodbye. Cheng Miran smiled as she looked at her long hair and said warmly. Goodbye. Cheng Yiran stood by the side and looked at the two of them. A plot flashed through her mind in an instant. The more she watched, the more she felt that they were a perfect match. On the way back, when Gu Chen was not around, she looked at Cheng Miran. Big brother, take Gu Changzi as your adopted daughter-in-law. Huh? Cheng Miran frowned. You like her anyway. Brother, you like Changzi too? Cheng Yiran said. Changzi is so cute. Everyone would like her. You definitely like her too. Big brother, I really like her. She's soft and adorable. And very understanding. Auntie taught her really well. Brother, say something. Cheng Mo Ran patted her head. What nonsense are you talking about? How old is she? 6 years old. Cheng Yi Ran said, not giving up hope and asking. Brother, do you like her? She's still too young. Yes. Cheng Yi Ran nodded helplessly. So, it will come slowly. Cheng Mo Ran said, a strange light flashing in his eyes. Ah, what? Ah, Cheng Yi Ran screamed.